Hello. Today's lesson is going to be solving equations with the variable on both sides of the equation. So please take out a piece of paper and make sure you have something to write with. Remember that as you are watching this video, you need to follow along and take notes and do the practice problems with me. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so up here on the screen, you will see that we have two different equations. And each of these equations are equations where we have the variable on opposite sides of the equal sign. So as we look at this one right here, 5x plus 2 equals 3x plus 18. Here's our equal sign. Here is the right side, and here is the left side. And you can see that we have a term that has an x on the left side, and we also have a term that has an x on the right side. If these two terms were on the same side, we could combine them because they're like terms. But they're not on the same side. They're on opposite sides of the equal sign. And when we're solving an equation that looks like this, the very first thing that we want to do is we want to collect the terms that have the same variable on the same side first. Okay, so we want to get these two terms on the same side. And the way that we do that is by using opposite operations. So if I want to cancel out the 3x on the right side, I can do a subtract 3x, right? 3x minus 3x. That's going to totally cancel each other out. And then whenever we're solving equations, we have to follow our properties of equality. So if we subtract a 3x from the right side, we also need to subtract a 3x from the left side. Now watch what happens here. Okay, 5x minus 3x, that gives us 2x. We still have our plus 2. So we bring that down, we keep our equal sign where it is. This 3x and minus 3x totally canceled out that term on the right side, and we're left with just 18 on the right side. Now this equation right here looks like an equation that you already know how to solve, right? It's just a two-step equation. So if we're solving for the x, if we're wanting to get the x by itself, there are just two things that we need to do in order to get this variable by itself. We need to get rid of the plus 2 by doing a minus 2. And whatever you do on one side, you do the same thing on the other side. And so now that leaves us with 2 times x. The plus 2 minus 2 totally canceled out, equal to 18 minus 2, which is 16. Now, from there, the way that we get rid of a multiplication of 2 is by using division. So we would divide by 2 on the left side, divide by 2 on the right side, and x equals 8. That is our solution. And whenever we're solving an equation, we always want to make sure that our solution really does give us a true statement. We want to make sure that when we plug in 8 for the x, that it makes the equation true. So let's check that really quick. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 2 is 42. And then on the right side, 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 18 is also 42. 42 does equal 42. So 8 is our solution. Okay, let's look at the next one here. We have negative 2 times by x minus 4 equals 5x plus 10. So in order to solve this equation, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get this term and this term to be on the same side of the equation by using opposite operations. Okay, so here's my equal sign, here's my right side, here's my left side. I have a choice to make. Okay, there's two things that I could do here to get these two terms on the same side. I could add 2x, which would wipe out the negative 2x on this side, and then I would need to add 2x on the right side. So that's an option. I could also subtract 5x from the right side, which means I would need to subtract 5x from the left side, and it would wipe this term off of this side. Okay? It doesn't matter what you choose. What does matter is that you always follow the properties of equality. Whatever you do on one side of the equation, you have to do the same thing on the exact same side to keep it equal. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2x here, which means we're going to need to add 2x here. And then let's write down what we have left. Remember, this is our right side. This is our left side. Negative 2x plus 2x totally cancels each other out. And then we're left with a negative 4. Do not forget to bring down the sign that's in front of the term. Okay, because there's a minus sign in front of this 4, we need to bring it down as a negative 4. Okay, and then we have 5x plus 2x, which is 7x, and then we have our plus 10. Now from here, you guys, we just have a two-step equation, which you're all really good at those. We had lots of practice with those on our last lesson. So remember, we're solving for this variable. We want to isolate it. We want to get rid of the 10, the plus 10, and we want to get rid of the multiplication of 7. So we always get rid of the plus or minus part first. So to get rid of a plus 10, we're going to do a minus 10, which we also need to do on the other side. And then negative 4 plus a negative 10 is a negative 14 equal to 7 times x. And then to get rid of the multiplication of 7, we're going to use division. I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. So x equals negative 2 is our solution. Now our last step is to check, does negative 2, when we plug it in for the x, give us a true statement? Okay. So negative 2 times by negative 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, so for the left side, when we plug in negative 2 for the x, we get 0. For the right side, 5 times negative 2 plus 10, that also equals 0. Okay, so we know that x equals negative 2 is our solution. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice a couple more of these together. 4 times x plus 6 equals 2x minus 8. Remember, our very first step is to get these two terms on the same side by canceling out one of the terms on one side. So I think I'm going to just subtract 2x here, which means I also need to subtract 2x here. Remember, we could have also subtracted 4x from both sides. It doesn't matter which one of those that you choose. Just remember that if whatever you choose, you do the same thing on both sides. So let's go ahead and write down what we have left. 4x minus 2x is 2x. 2x plus 6 is equal to, this totally canceled out, which is what we wanted to have happen, and then we were left with a negative 8. Now from there, we're just solving a two-step equation. 2 times x plus 6 equals negative 8. So to solve for the x, to get the x all by itself, we first have to get rid of the plus 6 by doing a subtract 6 on both sides, which leaves us with 2 times x equals negative 8 plus negative 6, which is negative 14. Then we would divide by 2 on both sides. X equals negative 7. That's our solution. And then our last step, let's check. Let's make sure that negative 7 does make the equation true. 4 times negative 7 plus 6 equals negative 22. And 2 times negative 7 minus 7 also equals negative 22. Okay, so negative 7 does make a true statement. So let's go ahead and do one more of these together, and then it will be time for you guys to practice a few of these on your own. So negative 3x minus 6 equals negative 5x plus 4. I'm going to add 5x here. That's going to cancel off this term. And then we'll add 5x here. And then negative 3x plus 5x is 2x. And then we need to write down our subtract 6 is equal to a positive 4. Now from there, this should be really easy. We're just going to solve this two-step equation we have, and we're going to add 6 to both sides. So 2 times x equals 10. From there, we would divide by 2. So x equals 10 divided by 2, which is 5. X equals 5 is our solution. So now let's plug 5 in for our x. And we have negative 5 times 5 plus 4. And let's make sure that this does make a true statement. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Negative 15 minus 6 is negative 21. And then we have negative 5 times 5, which is negative 25. Negative 25 plus 4 is also negative 21. So negative 21 does equal negative 21. X equals 5 is our solution. Okay, you guys, so here is your quiz. Solving a variable on both sides equation quiz. But today, I want to do something a little bit different. Before you take this quiz, we have set up a breakout room number 2. And in that breakout room, one of us will be helping you do some practice problems before you take your quiz. Okay. A lot of you are turning your quizzes in and then not doing them correctly and then having to redo them. And so for today, I want you guys to join us in a breakout room first. We'll practice together and then take your quiz. So hopefully you only have to submit your quiz one time. So with that said, I want you guys to go ahead right now and join us in breakout room number 2. And then after you've spent some time practicing, making sure that you know how to do this, then come back and take your quiz. Okay, and that's your assignment for today, is to finish that quiz by the end of class. So class is over at 10:30. So come and practice with us and then take your quiz, and then you'll be excused. See you soon.